So, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Kate Caruth here from Creative Words with some content gold to brighten your afternoon. And today I'm sitting with Leon Scott, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in a moment. We're going to be talking about content in the context of what he does. So, Leon, start by telling me and telling the audience about you. I mean, you know the drill, your name, your business, the types of people you help. Just introduce yourself to everyone who's watching.
No, absolutely. So yes, my name's Leon and I'm from Stellar Social, which is a social media marketing agency. We're based down in Ipswich and we help small to medium sized businesses grow on social media. So we basically cover everything under the social media banner. So we help with personal branding, we help with strategy and planning, we help with the social media management and then the content creation and paid ads as well. So we try and basically create a system based on the business's needs that works around them and then helps them generate more inquiries through social media.
Great. So let's start with the basics. When I say content, what does content mean in your world?
That's a really good question. I think for content, it really what it means to me is producing some form. Now, it doesn't need to be just video or images; it can be written as well, but some form of content, some form of basically a description of what it is you're doing. So a piece of video that is going out on social media, a piece of written text that's going out on social media, a photo that's going out on social media. Essentially, either telling a story or going out with a purpose. That would be how I typically define content.
Cool. I can hear in one sense you're sort of it's for us in this world. It's such a ubiquitous word that I can see you struggling to think. How do you describe what it is? It's stuff, isn't it?
It really
It's
is.
all the stuff. It's all the stuff. Yeah. So obviously, my business and the reason for this interview is to talk particularly about the written content. So surely, if we're talking about Instagram and TikTok and all of these sorts of tools, you don't need written words. It's all about video and images. How does written content matter for a business like yours and for your clients?
Yeah, it's really interesting now because I mean, granted, a lot of content that we produce, especially for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it is video or photos, but mainly video at the moment. But what we're tending to find now is that the video content only really starts to work with some written content above it. So you may have like a video with like a text overlay, which is still alluring people in. It's slightly giving them a bit more food for thought and bringing some curiosity in, so they then watch the video for longer. So a simple example of this is it might be a hook that you could just write on top of a video saying, here are 10 things that I wish I knew in my 20s. And from that, people are instantly a bit more engaged. They're thinking, oh, okay, what is that? And then a lot of the time, you wouldn't even write that on the video. You'd then put it in the caption. So although we are still creating video content, the written part is absolutely huge. It's almost fundamental to any of the content that we're posting out now. Did I answer your question? Sorry, I can't remember what else
You
we
did,
had.
yes.
Okay.
Why does it matter? Yes, why does it matter? Yeah. And when it comes to obstacles that your clients mention or that they're facing when it comes to creating the words, what are the big obstacles they come across? Where do they get stuck?
Yeah, typically we find a lot of the clients there's a few reasons that they get stuck, and the majority of the time it is them overthinking what they're posting. They if, for example, they're trying to write a LinkedIn post about some of the challenges that they faced or some of the wins that they've had, they are constantly thinking about what other people are going to be thinking about them or how they're judging them. So it becomes quite difficult in the manner where you are trying to basically put the perfect post out, and I don't think there is perfect. I think sometimes you can let perfection be the enemy of good sometimes, and genuinely once you start to post more, you'll start to realise things that work and things that don't. But perfect, there's no such thing in terms of the content. So I think a lot of my clients struggle with that, and also time. Writing content for yourself, it's hugely consumptive of time. It's one of the biggest things that I think a lot of our clients struggle with. So yeah, I'd probably say overthinking and time are probably the two biggest factors that our clients struggle with when looking to write content.
Right, okay. Now we can't not talk about AI.
Sure.
So why bother with all of those obstacles about time and making perfect posts when there's a machine out there that can do it? So why use human written content?
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's certainly a place for AI. However, I think human written content, you just can't beat it in a day and an age where a lot of the content, I'm sure your LinkedIn's the same, but LinkedIn is pretty much just AI slop. Even on sort of your other social platforms, you get so much AI generated content, and it's not authentic. It's not you at the end of the day. What we're trying to do is build a trust and credibility with yourself, and you using AI doesn't really do that. So I do genuinely think AI will have its place, and I guess it's what you've got in your hands. If businesses have got more time on their hands, 100% write the content yourself. If businesses have got more money on their hands, then outsource it to someone like yourself who can go in and have conversations with the businesses and really find out their tonality and the way they would talk. If you don't have nor time nor money, you get these solopreneurs or these one-man bands that don't necessarily have either. Maybe AI is the solution then, but I think it's the last resort in all honesty, because you want to be able to talk about yourself.
But you still feel that something is better than nothing. There's never a case where you'd say don't if you haven't got the time and you haven't got the budget, then don't do it at all. Are there any spaces where it's too AI and therefore it'd be better to do nothing? You're allowed to say that that's not the case.
No, that's a really, really good question, and I think it really struggles, because I would always say there's no negative to posting on social media in terms of being consistent and putting content out there.
Yeah.
But I think I might change my answer on that, and I think you can. If you are just constantly posting AI artificial content, I think there is going to become a point where your users, your people that are viewing the stuff, are almost just going to have a sort of a negative connotation of you, because you're just seeing AI content all the time. So yes, to answer that, I think maybe there is a time, if you don't have the time or the resources to either pay someone or do it yourself, maybe sometimes the answer is just not to post. But I think there's still the element that you can use AI to speed up the process. So you can sort of use a chatbot to help you sort of draft out your first post or give you some ideas for content, and then you just make them related to yourself.
I've seen it used really well with someone who'd thought the process through and gave the AI, this is my audience, this is my business, here's my website, gave it all that information, said, give me 10 suggestions of posts I might write.
Yes.
Because that inspires the creativity, and then you write the post, or you go, no, that's not me, I don't write it.
Yeah.
So it leaves the owner still in control. So I mean, I'm with you in the sense that it is a really, really good tool if you use it in the right ways.
Absolutely.
So, and I think this is the concern, that more and more of these conversations I'm having, it's not AI is the enemy, it's the way it's being used that is the challenge that we're seeing, is that it's become the default, and that's actually not where it can really help.
Yeah, no, completely agree. As you say, I think becoming the default is actually such a good way to describe it, because I think people almost rely on AI now. They literally don't know how to answer a question without using ChatGPT or Claude. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic tool, and used properly, it can really help productivity and efficiency.
Yeah. Then again, when I think back, I don't know how I'd manage without Google. And that's
Yes.
only an invention of the last 20 years. How would we
Yes,
cope with
very
that?
true.
We used to. We used to have Encyclopedia Britannica and go to the library. So in that sense, I think that it's an emerging technology. We'll see how it goes. Great. So
Absolutely.
tell me, if anyone who's listening to this or watching this is really struggling with their social media content right now, what's one really solid tip you can give them just to get them started or to help them with whatever they're struggling with?
Come to me. I'm joking.
We're coming back. That's the next question.
No, I do think planning is everything, and I think this goes with a lot of things in life. And I mean, we've been painting our living room recently, and we've been told that 80% of it's in the prep, and I almost think it's the same with content. You
Yeah.
need to know what you're posting. You need to have a strategy behind it, and it really does help. For our clients, we write out all their scripts so they know what they're going to be sort of saying, and we do a 3 month plan so exactly they know what they've got in store for the next 3 months. So I think that will probably be my biggest tip: plan and prep beforehand.
Right. Great. And if anyone likes the cut of your jib and wants to know more, and I will have to say that one of the reasons the main reason I'm doing these interviews is because I went to Leon and said, I need a strategy for my LinkedIn. And we had a conversation, and it was the conversation with Leon on the strategy which prompted me to say, oh, that's something I could be doing. So if you'd like to speak to Leon, either to get you started with a strategy or to just take your social media off your hands and wants to know more, how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way to do that?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can either, well, I think the best way to get in touch with me is give me a call. The number is 07464601255, or
And we'll put that
alternatively,
in the show notes as well. That'll be there as well, so people can
thank you.
find it. Yep.
Or alternatively, just drop me an email, which is info@stellasocial.io. So yeah, it's either of those. I'm easily contactable. So if you ever need any support with anything social media, please just do reach out.
Brilliant stuff. Leon, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I will be back in another month with another interview on the subject of content. But for now, have a golden afternoon.